Hi, my name is Sakima N. Coleman. Welcome to my channel. On this channel, we'll talk about all things mental health. So, before we get started, I'd like for us to pray in. And I'm no prayer warrior, but we'll say the Lord's Prayer, which is right here in back of me, which is good as any prayer. It's the Lord's Prayer. So we're gonna get started. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us for our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And do not lead us into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thou is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Okay, so this is my very first YouTube video. So I'm a little nervous, but we're going to get started. Today's topic is going to be on anxiety. I know that since COVID started, the anxiety of people is through the roof. Like, so many people has been diagnosed with anxiety, and I felt it very important that I get on here and talk about it. We're just going to discuss it. Some people might not know that they have anxiety, so I'm going to help talk about some symptoms and signs, and they could possibly reach out to a professional and get some help. So what I have here, what is anxiety exactly? Well, anxiety is a natural response to stress or danger, but it becomes problematic when it is excessive or out of proportion to the situation. So, there might be a situation going on and it might cause anxiety, but it's when the anxiety becomes exacerbated and hard for the person to handle when it becomes a problem. So, anxiety disorders are a group of mental health conditions that are characterized by persistent and excessive worry, fear, and nervousness. Anxiety can manifest in a variety of ways, including physical symptoms such as rapid heartbeat, sweating, trembling, and shortness of breath. You know, I remember this one time. I was at the DMV, I think renewing my driver's license, and I went up to the counter and the lady asked me to look through this thing to read the signs, and I just caught a panic attack out of nowhere, and my heart started beating fast, my hands started sweating, it was hard for me to breathe, and I was like, what is going on? So I mean, these type of things can come out of nowhere. A situation that you might be in at the time can cause anxiety to come on all of a sudden. And for some people, it doesn't let up. It lasts for a persistent period of time, and they might not have a clue what is going on. So today, we're going to try to help figure these things out. So we're going to talk about some of the common types of anxiety disorders. The first one is generalized anxiety. This one, is persistent and excessive worry in a wide range of everyday situations and activities. The second one is panic disorder. This one is sudden and unexpected panic attacks, which can include symptoms such as sweating, chest pain, and a feeling of impending doom. Now, this is the one that I felt at the DMV. This is panic disorder. The next one is social anxiety disorder. This one is intense fear of social situations and being judged or evaluated by others. Now, my daughter's boyfriend, this is the one that he has. Whenever he's out in public, he gets really nervous. he's always saying, come on, let's go. We have to go. I don't feel like being around people. He just can't deal with it. And he has to resort back indoors where they're alone. These things can be crippling and hard to deal with. He's not taking any medication for it, but he probably should if he wants to have a better quality of life. The next one is specific phobias. Now, this one is intense fear of a specific object, situation, or activity. For instance, someone might be scared of or afraid of spiders. So they fear spiders to such an extreme that when in a situation when a spider is around, they just lose it. Like they can't handle it. That's how much they fear spiders. It does, and it can happen with anything. A person can be afraid or fear anything that can be, and it could be crippling to them. So we're going to talk about the signs and symptoms of anxiety and the treatment. So the symptoms of anxiety can vary from person to person, but common symptoms include excessive worry or fear about everyday situations, difficulty controlling worry or fear, restlessness or feeling keyed up or on edge, muscle tension or muscle aches, difficulty sleeping or staying asleep, fatigue or feeling tired, difficulty concentrating or feeling easily distracted, irritability. You might feel irritable at times and often. And these are just some of the signs of anxiety. So if you may be feeling a few of these signs, maybe all of them, I'm no doctor. I'm not trying to diagnose anybody, but there may be a chance that you're dealing with anxiety. So I suggest that you reach out to a psychiatrist, a professional, and see if you can get the proper help that you need. What are some of the causes of anxiety? Well, the exact cause of anxiety disorders, they're not fully known or understood, but it is likely that a combination of genetics, environment, and psychological factors are involved. Some factors that may contribute to developmental or of anxiety disorders include family history of anxiety or other mental conditions, trauma or stressful events, chronic medical conditions, substance abuse or withdrawal, and brain chemistry and the way your brain is structured. So now, a big one is genetics. Now, I have a mental illness myself. My mental illness is called paranoid schizophrenia. My father, he was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder. It's kind of like schizophrenia and bipolar mixed, if I'm saying that correctly. But my father was mentally ill, and I have a mental illness, and it probably passed down to me. So these things can be genetics at times. There are several different treatment options for anxiety disorders, and these treatments include therapy, cognitive behavior therapy. This type of therapy has been shown to be effective in treating anxiety disorders. It helps people identify and change negative thought patterns and behaviors that contribute to their anxiety. Medication is a big one. Several types of medication can be effective in treating anxiety disorders, including antidepressants, benzodiazepines, and beta blockers. These medications can help reduce symptoms of anxiety and improve quality of life. Now, let's talk about medication for a little bit when it comes to mental illnesses. Like I said, I have schizophrenia. Before the doctors found the right medication for me that worked for me, life was extremely hard. And I prayed my way through the whole being mentally ill before the medication. It was God. It was God carrying me. It was God keeping me safe, keeping me from harm, ordering my steps. Without God, I don't know where I would have been. I don't know what would have happened to me. I literally prayed to God, and God gave me the strength to get through the schizophrenia without being on medication. Once I got on medication, my quality of life improved 90%. 90%. So medication can be extremely effective in dealing with mental and psychological disorders. The next one is lifestyle change. Making lifestyle changes such as getting regular exercise, eating a healthy diet, getting enough sleep, and practicing relaxation techniques like yoga or meditation can help reduce symptoms of anxiety. Now, lifestyle changes, that's another big part of helping with anxiety and other mental disorders. For instance, I know that when I go to the gym and I work out, I feel so much better mentally. It just makes you feel better. Exercise relieves a whole bunch of stress, unwanted stress. When you finish exercising, you just feel like you got rid of so much bad energy and you just feel so much better. Another one of these that stood out to me was meditation. Meditation is a good one. Meditation helps you to relax. It helps you to focus. It makes you feel peaceful, at peace. When I meditated to God, and God gave me the strength. And also on the list is alternative therapies. Some people may find alternative therapies like acupuncture or massages help in managing anxiety. So, it is important to note that treatment for anxiety disorders is highly individualized, and what works for one person may not work for another. Once again, I'm on medication for mental illness. I've tried 6 or 7 different medications and none of them worked for me, but I was in a group therapy with other people with mental illnesses. Some had the same mental illnesses as me, and they were put on some of the same medications that I were put on. The medications worked wonders for them. They had no problems. They did very well on the medications, whereas for me, it would knock me out, have me like a zombie. I couldn't function. I couldn't take care of my kids. I had 2 daughters, by the way, and my children were small. They were small children. I had like a 2-year-old, and I was trying to try out different medications. It's a trial and error type thing. I thank God that they finally found a medication that worked for me. But like they're saying right here, what works for one may not work for another person. So if you don't find the medication that's right for you right away, don't give up. There's a medication out there for you. I was always hopeful that the medication that will work for me will come. And it did. And I got my life back. I have my life back. So I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful to God for getting that medication to me. And, like I said, it's important that if you think you may be experiencing mental illness or anxiety, seek professional help. You cannot do it alone. You cannot do it alone. You're not a professional. You need to seek professional help so that your quality of life can get better. And some people are mentally ill and they don't know it. I didn't know it when I became mentally ill. I had no clue. I was having delusions, paranoia. I thought that the delusions that were going on in my mind, I thought they were all real. I thought this stuff was going on around me. My sense of reality and the delusions were together. I didn't know what was real and what was not real. I couldn't tell. It was very tough, guys. It was very tough. And so what we're going to talk about now is some techniques that can help you to cope with anxiety or any mental illness. The first one is deep breathing. Take slow, deep breaths. This can help calm your body and reduce anxiety. Try inhaling deeply through your nose, holding for a few seconds, and exhaling slowly through your mouth. The next one is progressive muscle relaxation. This technique involves tensing and then relaxing different muscle groups in your body to help release tension and reduce anxiety. The next one is mindful meditation. This one's good. Practicing mindfulness can help you stay present in the moment and reduce anxiety about the past or future. Try focusing on your breath or a specific object while letting thoughts come and go without judgment. Exercise. Like I said before, exercise is very important for your health. It can help you manage your weight, first of all. It can relieve stress. It can give you energy. It does all of this for me. I work out 5 days a week, an hour a day, sometimes an hour and a half. And I just feel so much better when I work out. On days that I do not work out, I feel okay, but I feel my best on the days that I get physical exercise. So it says regular exercise can help reduce anxiety by releasing endorphins and reducing stress hormones. Aim for at least 30 minutes of physical activity most days of the week. Like I said, they said most days here, but I do it 5 days. Sometimes I need a break. The next one is getting enough sleep. Lack of sleep can make anxiety worse, so it is important to get enough rest. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Sleep is very important, guys. Getting the right amount of sleep is beneficial to your health. It makes you feel refreshed when you wake up, and getting the proper amount of hours of sleep also helps in maintaining your weight. You burn a lot of calories when you're asleep. You might not realize it because you're not actually physically moving, but most of the calories that you burn, most of the fat that you burn from breathing when you're asleep. That's when you burn the most fat. Not when you're working out on a treadmill, not when you're running. You do burn fat and calories that way, but the most fat you burn is when you're asleep. Limit caffeine and alcohol. Both caffeine and alcohol can increase anxiety, so it is best to limit it or avoid it. Practice self-care. Sometimes take time for yourself to do activities you enjoy, like reading, listening to music, or taking a bath. Now, when I wasn't on meds, there were certain things that I did that totally helped me mentally, like writing, journaling. I would get my notebooks, I would get my pens, I would go to my room where it was nice and quiet. Sometimes I would play some nice, slow jazz music while I wrote, and I would write. And it felt like I was telling my problems, my thoughts. It was like I was telling it to somebody and getting it out of my system. Speaking of writing, when I was when I would journal, I journaled so much that I was like, there's so many people out there who have no clue what it's like to have a mental illness. You see people and you walk past them, they may be talking to themselves or doing something else strange, and the first thing a person might say is, "Oh, he's crazy," or "Oh, she's crazy." But no, they're not crazy. They're mentally ill. Mentally ill, something that they cannot help. They didn't ask to become mentally ill, I'm sure. It's a card that they were dealt. And sometimes they can't express to people that they're mentally ill because they might not know. They might not know that there's something wrong with them. So anyways, back to what I was saying. During my journaling, I was able to write my first book, which is Step Into My World of Schizophrenia by Sakima Coleman. It's an amazing book. It's basically about my life before I got sick, my life during the times when I was sick, what my life was like, the quality of life that I had. You guys get to see firsthand what the thought process can be like for someone with a mental illness. And it's very deep, it's very good. It lets you see my family life, how I have a husband, how I interacted with my husband, how he dealt with me with having a mental illness, how I dealt with my children with having a mental illness. And it's an amazing book. Go out and buy it. It's on Amazon. It's on just put my name in and it'll come up. It's on any brick and mortar bookstore out there. I was able to write a second book, which is titled Carnegie. Carnegie. This is about an Italian hitman who suffers from mental illness. I'm just going to read the back of it so you guys can get an idea of what the book is about. And it's also an amazing book. I'm praying that this book gets turned into a movie. I'm praying that my first book gets turned into a movie also. God answers prayers. But anyways, Carnegie. It says, Carnegie Vitali, a self-made billionaire and hitman/assassin for an Italian mob family and a private organization who lives a twisted lifestyle, tries to hold his family together by keeping them safe from unseen danger. He marries twice and shares children with both of his wives. His first wife never loved him. She only wanted the money. But his second wife, whose faith was strong in God, loved him through it all, hard and unconditionally. Carnegie also suffers off and on dealing with 3 mental illnesses: multiple personality disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and paranoid schizophrenia. The one that affects him the most is multiple personality disorder, which causes him to turn into some of his alter egos unknowingly. Even though his wife and mother prayed consistently to God and needed for him too, he still didn't believe in a God that would make someone mentally ill. Ordered to do another job, Carnegie kills a young boy's father, not knowing that he would soon grow up to avenge his father's death. The young man vowed that if he ever saw Carnegie again, he would kill him. Years later, tables turn. His past finally catches up to him, and near tragedy strikes hard, leaving his wife in the hospital with a 10% survival rate of a bullet taken in the chest that was meant for him. Feeling helpless, not knowing if his wife would make it through the night, Carnegie put his differences aside and turns to God for the first time, hoping that his prayers will be answered. Does that not sound like an amazing book to read? Trust me, you guys, it is. You do not want to not get this book, Carnegie. And to be quite honest with you guys, I wrote the books. I'm the author, but it was God who was guiding me while I was writing. I went back and read some of Carnegie, and as I was reading, I was like, oh my goodness, I said that? Oh my goodness, I wrote that? I don't remember it. But you guys, it was God. I don't remember it because it was God writing through me, and the whole experience was just amazing. But the last one on this list is talk to someone. Sometimes talking to someone talking to someone you trust, like a friend, family member, or therapist, can help you reduce anxiety and provide support. I know, like, when I was struggling mentally with schizophrenia, I had my husband there to talk to. And it just means so much when you have someone supporting you, someone who understands, who's not judging you, who's not calling you crazy, who's just there to support you. And when you have the right support around you, there's nothing that you can't do. There's something in you it's like it's giving you a push to fight to get better because you have somebody supporting you. So you guys, that's about all I have for today. If you guys want me to do more of these videos, well, I will be doing more actually on many different mental illnesses. I think the next one that I'm going to do is depression. There are a lot of people out there that's depressed, and they need to know that it'll get better. God can be a big strength for them. He was for me and still is. Even though I'm on meds, I still turn to God first because God is the person who provided me with those meds, and it's really God who's keeping me. Donations are welcome. I take donations. I only have one way to receive funds right now, and that's through Cash App. My Cash App is the money sign Sakimah Coleman. That's SAKIMAHCOLEMAN. And just to let you guys know, whatever you decide to send in, if you decide to send anything in, a lot of it will go towards the kingdom of God. I send out donations to people that's doing God's work all the time. And I just like to be a blessing to others. God blesses me, and I like to be a blessing to others. So it's all about keeping the kingdom work going so that people can see God's love here on earth so that they can be drawn into God. I mean, God doesn't need us, but he loves to use us so that people can see him through us so that they can want to know, wow, who is this God that's making her this way? Or who is that God who's making him this way? And they will try to seek that God too. And in return, their souls can be saved. That's what it's all about. It's all about saving souls and leading people to God. Well, that's about it, you guys. Until the next one, bye-bye.